All right. Apparently we're live. Let's get the stream online as well, so I don't have to repeat myself.
Yep, the stream is going. It's just should just take a minute.
Of course.
I'm just gonna fiddle with the exact location of the window.
All right. Morning, everyone. This is episode 283 of the OotiniCast. Well, we've got a lot of information to cover, but unfortunately I may not be here for the whole show. I may have to bail at some point, so just if I suddenly disappear, I wasn't wished out of existence. I actually did have somewhere to go, so I won't go into details about any of that. Just anyway, that's what's happening. Let me tweet about the show, chill, and then let us roll. Because
stream isn't showing up for me.
Sorry, what's not showing up?
The stream. Let's have a quick look at twitch.tv/OotiniCast. You are tweeting, streaming as OotiniCast, Joel?
Yeah. Wait, hang on, let me try again. Oh, sorry, you're right. I bumped to the wrong one.
Yeah.
Let's try it again. Takes a minute.
I'm watching the ad for a really bad movie. Oh, Jesus, Tom Cruise.
Jack Reacher?
Are we good?
Will be.
Okay.
Hang on. It takes a while.
Alright, so, yeah. We have a crazy amount of information. I have a phone call. 1 sec.
Okay. That might be Tio leaving for the whole show. Okay. Up. Yep. Okay. That looks like it's going. Exited host mode. It's telling me the Twitch went off host mode, so it should be going any time, I would assume.
Yeah, it's running. I can see it.
Oh, okay. I wonder why I can't.
Yeah, it's showing up for me now as well.
I'm going to try reloading Utini, the Twitch stream.
Well, I've started seeing that exited host mode thing recently. I've never noticed it before. No, I get it all the time.
Interesting. Does the stream look live? Because I can see the sounds going, but I don't see the actual... I look frozen in it.
Yeah, you do look frozen.
Okay. Why is that happening? Can you hear me on the stream?
Let me take a look.
Test, test, test. Why am I frozen on the stream? That's not good.
Yeah, audio's going. No, everything else is frozen.
Okay. Alright, so let me try stopping and starting again. The Hangout should be working, so I'm going to put that in chat. Hangout. So we have to wait for it to stop. There we go, now I can start it again. So far so good, but it froze last time too, so...
Yeah, I never noticed until a couple of weeks ago that YouTube has now got a chat thing as well.
Restarted it. Alright. Okay. And, Snape, could you try talking? I want to see if it pops the picture from person to person.
Yeah, sure. Hello, how are you? How are you today, Jill? Are you
Looks
okay?
good.
How's
Yep.
it going?
And Tio's back too.
Hello!
Was that Annie?
No, but it's all good news, sort of.
Okay, good.
Annie, is she okay? Is she okay?
Yeah.
Annie, is she okay? Is she okay, Annie?
Yes, Annie is okay. Annie. All right, are we good to go? Sorry about that.
Twitch still isn't up according to my screen.
What are you doing, man? Come on. Bunch of bloody amateurs, yeah.
Okay.
Oh, is it working or not?
Yeah, it's
don't know.
working for me.
All right, that's good enough for me.
Yeah.
It's working for Snape.
There.
Let me tweet out. That was what I was about to do. Though if Snape has, the world knows. So, why can I hear myself? All right, tweet it. I'll retweet that. Okay, guys, let's do this.
Okay. I think I'm going to have to hide my...
It's quite laggy,
Hide
apparently. You're
my
not downloading porn again, are you?
No, it's just... This is a bit of a strain on my increasingly old computer. Alright. I think what I'm going to do is turn... Should I adjust my bandwidth usage, or will that screw up the stream too much?
You have to restart. What are you streaming at the moment? What's your bitrate?
Doesn't say.
Okay, so you're on OBS, yeah? OBS Classic?
Yeah, well,
Okay.
I don't know. It does say high encoding CPU usage.
Okay, so go into settings, then click on encoding.
Okay. Yeah.
And you should have encoder X264.
Mm-hmm.
Use CBR should be ticked. Enable CBR padding should be ticked.
Let's see. UCBR is ticked, and what's the other one?
Enable CBR padding is to the right.
Yes, that's ticked as well.
What is your bitrate at?
Max, well, quality balance is kind of gray right now.
That doesn't matter, yeah. It's just
Okay,
the
max bit rate is 1,000.
Okay, that needs to be higher. So change, what is your internet upload in your house?
And it actually changed when I got the new modem. I'm not certain. It's probably...
What was it before?
Let's see. I'm thinking it's something like...
4 megs, 5 megs?
Yeah, something like 5 megs, something like that.
Change it to 2,500.
Okay.
Okay, and the rest with the ordering code in it doesn't really matter so much because this isn't that important. Then you want to go into advanced.
Okay.
Okay, so you should
hang
have
on.
use
It's forcing me to apply changes.
save. Yeah, that's fine. You'll have to restart the stream after this anyway.
Okay.
So you should have use multi-threaded optimizers ticked.
Yep.
Priority class is normal.
Yep.
Okay, go down. You should have X264 CPU preset should be very fast.
Yep.
Encoding profile should be high.
Okay, it said main, so that's changing.
Change that to high. Keyframe interval, change that to 2.
Okay.
And you want to click use CFR if it's not ticked already, and then just save that, restart, you should be good to go.
Okay, apply it, okay, and we'll give it a try.
Chill. This is definitely episode 283 that you started in YouTube?
Yes.
Okay. It's just
Do I need to change something?
Don't think so. Let me just check.
Was it just is it just the heading or something that needs to get altered?
No, it's the actual link is wrong on the website. Hang on, gentlemen.
Okay, let's try. I'm starting up the stream again.
Yeah, okay.
Okay, and hopefully... Still pretty high CPU usage. I think
What
that's
CPU?
not...
What CPU do you have?
Recording is not
I think it's technically a Tin Lizzy. Well, it's the same computer that I started playing SWTOR with, so yeah, it's old.
Okay. All right, you're not going to do any better than that.
Nah.
Jill, is the Hangout still going? The broadcast on the Hangout.
It is. Hang on a sec. I've got ads. Gotta kill the ad there.
Switch to Hitbox.
Okay.
Yeah, I think my camera's died for some reason as well.
Yeah, I don't think my computer likes these new higher settings.
You're right, switch it back.
The settings shouldn't affect your CPU usage. Drop it down to maybe 2000 then. You haven't increased any... well, I guess you have.
Yeah, you have.
I'm going to just go down to 1,000 again where it was.
Yeah, let's just leave it, and I don't understand why the stream isn't working.
Yeah, I'm just going to stop it and start it one more at the lower settings so my computer doesn't freeze up on me.
Alright, so...
1,000 is very low.
I know, that's okay though. We're talking about, a Hangout box that's like a quarter of my window anyway.
Yeah, okay.
So I'm not too arsed about it. All right. Okay, let's get going then.
For whatever reason, the YouTube streaming isn't working, so we'll just go with Twitch for now. Oh god, am I lagging badly?
I think you are going to lag more than when you're hosting it anyway.
Yeah, that's fine. It's probably better this way. Hello, Andrew.
Hopefully it's not going to screw me up with another ad.
Oh, it is working on the website. All right, we're all good. Everything's fine.
Test.
But lagging. All right, we'll just hope it sort of works.
There's the silver fox. Now I see you.
Now, if I have to disappear, just make sure you guys upload your tracks to the Dropbox, and if you can't, please share it with me some other way using Google Drive, whatever. All right, let's get into this. do we want to do the tips last? Let's just dive straight into the news, get through that, because that's the part I want to be here for. Then do tips, then do feedback.
So do our week, but you want us to skip the holo feed?
Yeah. No, skip the tips. Skip the tips. Do
Skip
them
the-
last.
Okay.
Do the tips last.
All right.
And I'll do my editing magic.
Okay, so our week, skip the tips, and go from there. Okay.
Yes, sir.
All right.
Let's
Going
rock.
in 5. Hi, and welcome to the OotiniCast, the podcast that is quite safe from your pitiful little band. This is episode 283, being recorded on Thursday, October 20th, 2016. I'm your host, Chilla, with our producer and co-host, Tio. Hi, Tio.
Hey, guys.
And our guests today are Snave and Blay. So, Snave, it's been a while. How you been? What you been up to?
I'm good, thank you. I'm good. What I've been up to? Nothing much, really. Just ruining regs for everyone. I've started doing some more YouTube videos. So if you want to see some games of the weeks and some guides on there, I did to try and teach people how to count to 8. Chill. That was the the hardest thing I've ever done in my life. So
Yes, and keep a beat.
yeah, it was pretty good. But other than that, nothing much really. Just getting salty about RNG boxes and horrible flashbacks like PTSD about Battle Master crates and things. So.
And the death of expertise, Dave.
That doesn't bother me, man. I'd be happy to get rid of PvP gear entirely and just have flat stats. It doesn't bother me at all.
Wow.
I'd rather that than random boxes. I played in 1.0 where you had the Battle Master crates. I felt the pain, Tio. These new guys thinking, "Oh, this is great." No, you don't know. You don't know what it's like. You weren't there,
That
man.
was a long time ago.
Back in Illiman, I was there in the front lines in Illiman with my 3 FPS. You weren't there, man. You don't know what it was like. But yeah, it sucked. It really sucked.
All right. And let's see. Was there anything more recent that you wanted to talk about, or like your game this week or anything like that?
Oh, my game this week was I actually can't remember what it was. Oh, it was Ancient Hypergate, which was quite interesting because it ended in a way that not many people might know, which is once you get to the ×9 multiplier, which I think is round 6, the game just ends. So it was a game that we were losing on kills. Or sorry, it was a game they were stalling us out. They had 4 healers and 2 tanks on their team. God bless matchmaking. So
Oh, man.
it was an interesting one because not many people understand that it ends at that point in time, rather than just keep on going on and going on and going on.
Right.
And there was another one I wanted to upload about Hatball, where I score in the last 3 seconds to force a draw, so the ball doesn't spawn up mid, so you win because you scored the last goal. And it's another little trick that not many people know about. So that one will be up soon, hopefully.
All right. And Blay, how have you been? What have you been up to lately?
I've actually got a chance to do a little bit of raiding, which has been, well, fun. Yeah, so basically there's the new SWATO Family Guild on
Nice.
TRE,
Mm-hmm.
and they've been very, very kind and invited me along, so I've been going along with them. It's been sort of fun because a lot of them haven't done some of the raids and some of the operations, so you're going in with people who are sort of going in for the first time and seeing some of the fights for the first time. I don't know if any of them hadn't seen Skin of Villainy before, but we got through it. It took about 3 hours to get through the raid,
Yeah.
but as a group, we got through. I started off as a healer, then I moved to a DPS when we lost one person, and then I moved to a tank for the last 2 bosses, which is
Wow.
just part of the experience of just going in and raiding, isn't it, with a new group. do a bit of everything during the course of an evening.
Yeah, exactly. That'll keep you busy.
Well, it was lucky I was able to keep a couple of characters geared so I can always do any of the sort of roles and any of the operations, and I've tanked, healed, and DPS to every single operation in story mode anyway. It's only hard mode where I've only really done DPS and healing. I don't like tanking hard modes. It's too much pain, especially when it comes to Ravengers and... No, Ravengers.
Yeah.
I just absolutely hated it.
Yeah, just tanking on tacticals was a little rough for me this week, so yeah, I can feel the pain. All right, Tio, how about your week?
Sorry, I'm just... The best way to put it is complicated real-life stuff that I'm not going to go into and hopefully will be resolved well.
Right.
How about your week, Jill?
Okay. Well, let's do a shout out to the chat room. Let's see. We've got 8-Bit Squid is here, Anog, Ikuochi, I can't remember how to pronounce that, I'm sorry. Ilukane, Armor Gregan 1, Ashame 16, Bill 646, Blaze here as Blech Gaming, Kaom, Captain and GM, Count Luku, Daka, Dartharo, Darth Brundlefly, Dekion, Delegate, Dreadex, Dragonblade 150, Elion D2, Farseer, Gahana, Gator Skull 1289, Hawk is here, Higster, Jaggedfell, Java Doggy, Jelly Andy, Jockins, Jolie T. Jerry, holy mackerel, JP Evans, Junkyard 27, Lexan Estra, Lord Fluffy Wobble, Morlin, Neptune is here, Naraga, Nyanive, Onomatopoeia SV, S. Pele's, Rob Tober, Room Inspector, Sale 89 KG, Siska, Slayer Orange, Slave is here, So Fat is Hat? I don't know how you pronounce it. I'm not sure where the word ends are on that one. It's all mushed together. Sphinx 88, Stavis, Super Solid, Soldier Economics is here. Hey, Tang Wife Golf, Trig is here. Tire XX underscore Lannistor, Vasma Gaming, Viledge, and Zen001 are all here. Holy cow.
A lot of familiar names,
a lot of
and
folks
that's 58
here.
people, Jill. That's why it took so long to read.
Exactly.
You think
Thanks
we've
for
got
coming,
something to
everyone.
talk about?
Yes. All right, and I'm now done with as far as I'm going to go on Dark versus Light. So I got my companion level achievements, and I am out. I got Chill Santa leveled rather quickly. It felt like I did flashpoints to get him done. That was also one of the main achievements that I needed to get done in order to get it all up to date. I also did one on Rails mission. It's the very first one, Fondor Escort.
Oh, yeah.
And got over 250,000 XP for it. Yeah,
Wait,
so...
Did you like that mission, Jill? Did you like the escort?
It was fun doing it, given the fact that I had actually bought... I went to the... I thought I might do some, so I bought all the grade 5s off the fleet. So...
Did it make you fonder for them?
Yeah, that one is... yeah. That one's pretty basic, but it was nice to. It was actually nice to see them again. I forgot how pretty they are. They're very pretty missions. So the lowdown on how those work are they still open up based on your level. So when I did this at 63, 64, even though I'd never done one on this character before, they were all open. All of them were available. The super extreme ones that they added later on can be found if you don't know their name. Because their rewards include a special rep item, so when you look at the little rewards, you'll see this extra thing, and you want to avoid those unless you really have all that super gear. And actually, if you haven't done it before, you won't have like the points to get all your regular slots filled, just the basics like the armoring and the gun and everything. The missions still have the same difficulty, so that hasn't changed. They require the same ship gear as before, and the gear still has the level requirements, so pretty much you can do the ones that you've unlocked, which is fine. And you'll need the gear. You'll need the ship armorings and stuff that you always have. That part hasn't changed, but the XP scales up. So it's it's a lot of XP at level 63 or 64. So that was pretty crazy. And and then I was tanking tactical flashpoints. Mostly didn't have a problem. Did have a problem on the last one, Red Reaper. Tio, you remember? I think you remember. This one has some rather difficult trash pulls at the beginning. Yeah, there's that one on that sort of like bridge area and so on. That they do like crazy amounts of damage. That still is true even on tacticals. And I had 2 DPS and a level 16 healer who wasn't healing. So it was we were 3-manning that sucker essentially. And just couldn't get past all the trash, and I finally had to bail, and that's why I decided to do an on-rails mission. So, but then I jumped back in another one when I could, and that one went fine. So it was not bad at all with folks who were a little bit better geared and so on, but still kind of rough. All right, so I'm done with Dark versus Light, and and I did also jumped on Satan and on the dark side because he has done all the chapters. Went to EC and did the first 5 bosses, and that was it. So yeah, it was nice to do that. Except now I need to figure out what I'm going to do in the game until the expansion drops, because I definitely don't have the time to do all the stuff in the last level. All right, well, I'm just going to skip that part. And that will bring us to the holo feed, Tio.
Well, guys, we have a lot to cover. So they had their big live stream, and, well, as part of that, they revealed all kinds of stuff. But just before we get there, firstly, let's just talk about the existing Dark vs. Light event, which Chill was just referring to his own participation in, and I do still plan to do some in that myself.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I guess. Yeah, sure. There was some confusion about when it ended. As we said last week, it will end with early access to Kotet, so 29 November, not 2nd December, which was apparently tweeted out or something. So DVL event, you have until the end of November, 29th of November, to get that done. Now, they did also talk about the 3 levels of difficulty for the chapters, and as part of the ability to go back and do content and do it again. So this only applies to the COT fee and the Kotet, as in the existing chapters and the new chapters coming. You can set their level of difficulty from the story and the other 2, and they are repeatable, so you can just go back and do them again, or as many times as you want, and who knows how the conversation choices sort of figure into that, because I guess choices mattered the first time, but after that somehow I don't think so. Yes, but it will not affect anything else. No other content in the game, at least for now. And certainly none of any of the other expansion stories or the class stories. Alright, so anyway, that's the updates. Let's get to the good stuff. Where shall we start? Alright, so there was a live stream, but what we'll first start with is the big announcement, which they then talk through in the live stream. They told us what Galactic Command was actually all about. And gotta say, I did not see this coming. Actually, I didn't see any of this coming. It's like, yeah, okay. Details. Firstly, once you hit level 70, the source of endgame gear will be command crates that you get via the Galactic Command system. So, let's just let that sink in for a second. You will not, any level 70 content, operations, flashpoints, well, anything really, once you're level 70, you will no longer get item drops. Instead, you will get command XP, which you will then, which will rank you up in the whole Galactic Command thing, and at various points you will get command crates. Now, they have mentioned, of course, Galactic Command, or as we sort of inferred, would not be accessible to anyone who wasn't a premium or subscribed player. That effectively means that if you are free to play or preferred, you will not be able to earn endgame gear at all.
Right.
And the gear that you get from these command crates, we'll talk more about it, but one fundamental part of it is that it is bind on pickup. So, yeah, yes, you cannot...
So all those alts you leveled for DVL, good luck leveling them up and getting all the gear for them.
Now, there was some confusion. All of the items that you get from the command crates are moddable and will have set bonuses, at least some of them, and you can pull out the mods. That includes the armoring mods, and that does mean you can transfer all of the mods into legacy gear.
So in theory, it's the armoring, because they just did a stream where they said they weren't sure whether you could or not.
They've just clarified that with a post.
Oh, fantastic.
Yes.
So as long as you have the same class, you can share the gear. So like Operative and Scoundrel. Cool.
Well, remember, it's all mastery, or the win stat now, so depending on the mix of stats, you'd probably be able to share it across multiple disciplines and classes.
Mm-hmm.
Awesome.
At least until you start getting the actual set gear.
Yes. Now, these command crates, probably the biggest controversy is that the items that you get out of them are random. Yes, random. That means there is absolutely no way to control what you get. However, the gear itself will be tailored to your discipline. They initially said it would be advanced class. That is, when you open a crate, you would get some gear that would be suitable for you. But it was your specific discipline within your advanced class. That's a nice little tweak they've made to the system.
Yes.
Yep. Just make sure I haven't missed anything. Now, Command XP, Command Experience Points, which is what you use to rank up your command ranks. And each time your command rank increases, you get a command crate. Now, what do you have to do to earn command experience? Well, anything really. So that would include operations, flashpoints, uprisings, whatever they are. And I'm sure they'll be explaining that quite shortly. PvP, of course. I wonder about your on-rail space missions, Jill. Don't know.
I don't. It shows Starfighter, but it doesn't show anything about space
What a
missions.
shock. Yeah,
so I
okay.
think
So-
for now, at least, they're out. But
So
they
for the
could
two
add them.
players still doing Galactic Starfighter, you've got that, and Heroics as well, I believe. So the obvious conclusion from this is, in theory, you could just heroic your way to the best endgame gear, because there's no cap on this. As long as you earn the Command XP, you'll just keep on ranking up. It may take longer, but you will eventually get there and earn the best gear in the game, including gear with set bonuses. Previously limited to doing operations to be able to get that stuff. So again, it's all kind of weird and very, very, very different. So now, an interesting point of comparison is with operations, you knew which bosses dropped which pieces of gear, and obviously you could like run particular operations to get a particular piece of gear. Yeah, well, that's not going to work now, is it? But the key point is their intention is that the harder whatever it is, whatever the content you are doing is, the more command XP you get, which means that Nightmare Mode operations will be a very effective way of gaining command XP. Faster, that is. Whereas just doing heroics will get you some, but obviously not as much, nowhere near as much. So that's the general heuristic they've applied to determining how much command XP you get from anything. And, well, they are still clearly tweaking the numbers as they have said, but that's certainly their intention.
Is there a limit as to your level? I mean, is there? It says every time you rank up a level, you're going to get crates.
I am glad you asked, Jill, because yes, there is. There is an actual cap. They haven't actually decided what it is, as in a top maximum command rank you can get. Now, speaking of command XP and caps, you can only earn a certain amount of command XP per week. And they've gone to pains to say that is entirely an anti-exploit mechanism. That is, if someone discovered some really crazy way of earning masses amount of command XP, they want to be able to cap it.
I see.
And at least track
That's
it down.
right. They were, and then they said that it's like almost impossible to get it the honest way. And then they said we're sure some crazy players will try it anyway. But okay, I remember that part.
Right. So
that's a cap per week, but is there also just a maximum cap as to like this level you can be? Okay.
There is a maximum command rank. So in theory, you will eventually get there, and I don't know what you do at that point. Switch to the next alt.
It's probably also worth mentioning as well that the gear you get, the item level is linked to your command level.
Right.
So when you first start getting crates, they will be a lower item level than when you finish it off. I think they said it's 100 levels is the cap at the moment.
Okay.
And then someone told me earlier on that 70 is where you start getting the high items. So you have to get through the first 70, then you start getting the top tier for the last 30.
And if you cap out, you can still get crates somehow?
Yes, it just rotates around. So
it'll just start
imagine it like level in chill. You know, if you get to level 70, imagine the XP bar just keeps on going. Same kind of principle.
Okay.
Now, before level 70, everything works the same way. You will get items. But as soon as you hit level 70, the whole command thing kicks in, and you start getting the good stuff. Now, I don't know if you're level 70 and not subscribed, whether you still get the old stuff, but I'm guessing not. I'm guessing you just don't get anything.
Will you be able to get to level 70 if you're not subscribed?
Well,
no.
You can obviously subscribe, get to level 70 just for a month, but then as soon as your sub lapses, you will no longer get command XP, you will no longer earn command crates And if you have any gear you don't happen to be wearing at that point, I believe they said you won't be able to equip it. So they're not going to take anything away from you, but yeah, you may as well not have it.
It's a very, very different stance, isn't it, on the whole free-to-play thing. This is very different, which is strange because this is the most successful expansion they've ever done ever. They've been telling us for the last year. Why would there be so much drastic changes to the most successful expansion of all time ever in the history of ever? It's almost like it isn't.
Yeah, well, you remember all of those statements were referring to the launch of Cotfin around then, which just happened to coincidentally coincide with the release of The Force Awakens and incredibly increased interest in Star Wars and Star Wars-related games. But I'm sure that's got nothing to do with it. It was entirely due to the episodic nature. Story. Right. The sarcasm is thick today. All right, let's talk about PvP, because PvP is directly affected by all this, because same deal. It all comes from command crates now, certainly in endgame PvP, and the old expertise stat has been removed from the game. Now, as you remember, and at least for now, not for much longer, what expertise does is make you more effective in PvP when you are against other players or being attacked by other players or healing other players. But yes, it's going away. Gone. So that means that there will no longer be any differentiation between PvP and PvE gear. It's all the same stuff. And so the obvious consequence of that is you could just max out to command rank 100, get the best gear, and then you'll be as effective as you possibly can be in PvP. So PvE all the way, and then you've got the best gear, and you can just jump straight into PvP. So, Snave, you were saying you don't actually mind that. You think it's a good thing?
No, I mean, I really don't care that much about gear, and I was discussing this earlier on, actually. The only thing I like about gearing is the whole theory crafting aspect, when people are like, try this stat or try that stat, and sometimes you can do some clever things, or you can just, it's like a little mini game, of just tweaking stats. But primarily when people do PvP, they generally want to play against people, and they don't want to have a inherent advantage because their player has, a better gun or whatever it is. With the whole PvE, PvP thing, I remember back when I first played WoW in vanilla, they had a very similar system where it was just the same gear.
Right.
For PvP and PvE, and we would frequently get it where the PvE guilds would, at the end of their raid nights, come in with, the Doom Hammer and Wind Fury and just one-shot people and things, because there was the best items were PvE items.
Right.
This is a little bit different because everyone gets the same equipment, so you don't have to PvE to get a certain drop or a certain Star Wars space sword. But it doesn't really fix the problem of the advantage versus the disadvantage. Because the way that I see it now is, if you play kind of casually, you can get a basic set of PvP gear in about a week. If you have friends with comms as well, they can buy you bits and pieces. So it's very, very easy to gear up, which is good, because I think it encourages people to play it just to get a basic set of gear. And the difference really isn't huge. Whereas now, if someone comes back to the game, say in 4 months' time, they're going to be at a disadvantage for what looks to be a significantly longer period of time. So I'm not really sure how that works out. It's also... this goes back to how they measure success, I guess. The thing they care about most is the number of pops rather than the quality of pops. I mean, this isn't conspiracy theory. That's been said multiple times. If number of pops is their main metric.
Yeah.
Now, if ranked PvP is the fastest way to get comms, there's nothing stopping anyone from just sitting in the rank queue all day long playing it. And that's the easiest way to level up. So, I mean, that to me will probably give you lower quality games, but hey, you have pops and currently it's dead. So, I mean, that's a 6 of one, half a dozen of another. Some's good, some's bad. But in terms of removing expertise, no, I really don't care. Don't care whatsoever.
Okay.
One thing that is probably worth mentioning is a lot of guys have been praising this as great because it shows that you only need one set of gear. It's amazing we only need one set of gear. That isn't true. Accuracy is used heavily in PvE. It isn't used really at all in PvP. So you will still need 2 sets of gear. Maybe you can do it with what are they called, relics and implants, so it's not such a severe grind or whatever. But it's this isn't the solution to that problem.
Okay.
All
Yeah,
right.
and it looks like ranked. You'll have to have a certain amount of valor. So,
Which doesn't mean a damn thing. It just means you PvP'd a lot. So I
Right,
guess
which-
that's not bad.
If you did it back, when you were like level 50, before there were any expansions, but you haven't touched PvP since then, you could still jump into ranked.
Exactly.
It's literally probably the stupidest metric you could use to gate it. I mean, you could use anything. You may as well just do it by like /played. If you've
Right.
got over 3 days or something, then you can queue for it. It honestly, it means literally nothing.
And
And
isn't
the
there
best thing-
isn't there a valor boost in the game?
I was going to say, yeah, you can get Valor boosts too. So, I mean, there used to be an old troll I would do on the fleet where I would say that Valor was linked to skill. So Valor 100 is twice as skillful as Valor 50. It's maths, guys. You can't argue with it. It's maths. 50 is half 100. That people used to take the bait on that one quite a lot. But yeah, it's a really silly metric to use. You should do it by item level. Have at least 204 or 208, whatever the equivalent is.
Right.
Something along those lines.
Yeah. Although the nice thing about this is that people who are like, sort of not really willing to go into PvP, because their gear is so far behind, because they would have to start over, with the gear grind.
Who are these
Well,
people?
their gear would be
hear
the
this.
same now, and they can jump in, and not feel like, oh, I'm gimped because all of a sudden
Yeah.
I've got gear that's completely useless for where I am.
But I hear this a lot where people say, "What about players who don't have the gear? They can come in and they can." I don't think I've ever met these players. I don't think they exist, to be perfectly honest with you. It's a bit like me saying I don't jump into PvE because I haven't got a PvE set. Well, that just isn't true. The only reason I haven't done it is because I don't want to hit a boss in the butt for 4 hours. It doesn't really interest me. And don't get me wrong, I've done some PvE and I've done it in my PvP gear when push came to shove, and I guess it's a different type of game mode. But people always make out like there's like these hordes of players just go, I want to do it, but I don't want to get the gear. They don't exist. And if they did exist, it's so easy to get gear now. You probably have enough commons to get a set, maybe get a piece, I beg your pardon, maybe every 2 or 3 games. Maybe a bit more than that, actually. I'm not sure how many commons you get because it does bug out on some maps. But you can certainly get a piece within an hour, of gameplay. So where are they? If they where are these people? It's not going to make a difference. These people will queue up, they'll get destroyed by people, and then they'll never queue again. And there'll be a post on Reddit saying, oh, guys, I queued up, I had gear, and I did my best, but someone was mean to me, and you shouldn't be mean to me, so I'm not playing anymore. And then everyone's like, oh my god, PvPs are so mean to everyone. And you look at them, and a lot of the time, they haven't done anything to try and prepare for it. I hate these people so much. Just read a guide or something. Just do something. It's not rocket science. Right. Ultimately, if I turn up for a raid and I wipe you 10 times, how much patience are you going to have with me before you kick me from the group? It's the same principle. So, no, I think that's a fallacy. I don't think it's going to happen. I would like to see. So the other thing is they did the recruit set a long time ago, didn't they? Where when you hit level cap, they give you a basic set. I'd like to see that back, but just the problem they had last time was you could vendor that for like 300k.
So everyone did, yeah.
A load of credits back then. I mean, I was doing PvP and leveling, and I still sold it, so I could buy these. It's you just need to put it in for 1 credit, and then people will use a recruit set, and that's a much better way of doing it.
Is there any place for bolster anymore?
If it was down to me, they would just be bolster. Every class would have a set of stats.
I agree.
You could even have it like the example that we came up with earlier on is like you can right click your companion and select tank DPS whatever. Yeah, just do the same thing with just 3 pre-built loadouts. So like high alacrity, high crit, just something like that. Yeah. And then you can tweak it a little bit depending on what you prefer.
And then it's all down to player skill.
Yeah, because
it really is taken out of the equation.
I spend a lot of time speaking with PvPers, and pretty much exclusively, and I never see anyone go in, oh, I can't wait to get a new tier of item level gear. People like new weapons and things because they look cool,
right?
But no one's ever like, oh yeah, I can't wait to get 3 more crit. Yeah, no one is saying that.
Right.
So I think a flat one would pretty much solve the problem, and then you haven't got to worry about it. And also, if you bear in mind these other arguments they're using about people wanting to just play, then that also fixes that as well. But this does too, because everything is just flat now. So yeah, whatever.
I guess this means that at level 70, I assume they'll still do bolster pre-70, of course, for the different level ranges and bringing everyone up to
Yeah.
the appropriate level for that range, but at 70, they do explicitly say that item rating does indeed give you an advantage if it's higher, because it gives you the higher stat.
It depends on whether how much of a difference it makes.
Sure.
So, to give you an example with this, WoW recently changed their system where the top gear versus like entry gear is about 5%.
Right.
That's pretty much it.
Sure.
Which, I mean, I can live with that. You know, I can live with that. I went back into WoW before the expansion came out, and I was doing some PvP. My gear was horrible, and I was saying to my stream, like, am I pressing the wrong buttons? Like, I'm just no one is dying. Like, what am I doing? So a 5% variance difference, I think, is perfectly acceptable from top to bottom. And if it's that, then brilliant. If it's more, then you start having problems. If I'm hitting you twice as hard as you hit me, then yeah, good luck with that.
Alright, let's just go over some of the other mechanics associated with it. Color crystals, expertise color crystals disappear. They're being replaced with mastery crystals. Relics, they haven't worked it out yet. PvE versus PvP relics. Will PvE relics work in PvP?
It's actually quite a big one, because I don't know if you guys remember this, but back before the great operative nerf of 1.2, or was it 1.4? I forget, I tried to purge it from my memory. But back before that, the main problem they had was people using adrenals and relics inside war zones. So you would like adrenal relic, war zone adrenal, vanish and hidden strike someone twice, which would just kill them. So if you have on-demand relics again, that's going to be an interesting one to see, because people are going to get wrecked by that. Absolutely wrecked. Especially with the auto crit, if you can combine your auto crit with on-demand relics,
Right.
It's a big difference.
I suspect there will be all kinds of things like that will emerge and have to be fixed, and fixed again, and fixed again.
The only thing we know for certainty is that no one at BioWare would have even thought of any of them. That's the only thing we can know with any certainty.
Leaving that alone. Now, worth noting, crystals, as in the various commendations that we have now, and Warzone comms that exist now, are all going away. And there'll be some sort of conversion plan, maybe converting them into CXP, that's my guess, or they'll just convert them straight in the credits, and we're all going to be even playing field when it comes to CXP. But we will see. They're not giving anything away in that regard. Now, just confirming that gear that were from bosses will all drop as... Well, they won't, basically. Apparently they'll drop CXP when you kill them. That's it. As well as whatever unique items they currently have, like the Wings of the Architect mount as an example, or decos for your stronghold, that kind of thing. That's all exactly as it is now, and will drop normally. But you will not get gear, you will get CXP. Now, if you're in an operation, just some more examples: killing any enemy which is gold, that is an elite or champion or higher, basically. Killing the boss will grant each person in the operation a bind-on pickup consumable, which grants a burst of CXP, hence how you get the command XP from the bosses. And if you queue through Group Finder, you'll receive command XP for completing the op.
Okay.
Now, they do talk about progress, but a lot of this is going to be up in the air. Getting through the lower levels of command rank will be faster than getting through the higher levels. That means each command rank will require more command XP to get up to that next tier, just like Valor.
I expected that works. And
So
like regular
exponential
XP too.
curve. Yeah.
Yeah. What's the beardy guy called again? The story writer. I'm sorry, I've forgotten his name.
Charles Boyd.
Charles Boyd, that's the one. Yeah. So he said on the stream earlier that it takes around about 1 to 1.5 hours to get a CXP level, and that was, you'd get it faster at lower levels. So I'm assuming it's 1 to 1.5 towards the end. So you can expect to get a crate roughly with that time scale, depending on what you're doing.
Right. You'll be able to craft comparable item level gear without set bonuses. So, those of you crafting, apparently that's what they're going to do. Does that go all the way up to the top post 70 command rank gear? I wonder. And can you actually reverse engineer it and learn the schematics for those mods?
Apparently so, yeah.
Okay, all right. We'll
So
see.
in the pictures that they showed of what you can get in the command kit crate, someone unblurred it, and basically it was a schematic. So yeah, you can get
Okay.
schematics, and I'm pretty sure they've said that you can RE them as well.
Right.
Don't quote me on that one, but I'm 90% sure that I've
You
heard
could.
that.
They unblurred it. Isn't the whole point of those algorithms to actually make it
Something
unreversible?
it wasn't that hard to you. I mean, if you look at it, you can see that one of them's a bracer.
Okay.
You can see that it's some kind of schematic, whether that's whatever it is, you got to work it out. But yeah, that was, I think that was maybe assisted by some other sources. But yeah,
Okay. Now, you can watch all this, of course, on the actual live stream. Dolphy has notes for it. Just going back to see if I missed anything. None of this is associated with the cartel market. You'll be happy to know.
yet.
Right.
Yet.
Yeah, and they're still looking at how quickly they want people to be able to get the gear. But yes, they did mention the 1 hour to 1.5 is sort of what they were looking at now.
Okay.
Command
so
crates also have vanity items and crafting mats, as well as the randomly allocated gear.
can I give you guys some rough benchmarks on how long it's going to take?
Depends
I've
on the
done-
source.
Oh no, it's all done through just the random chance by the amount
All right.
of slots you have, and a 1 hour getting one. So
Yep.
100 CXP levels, 70 onwards is the top tier. So if you assume you get a crate once per hour and you want to get a full set, so let's make those two assumptions. So to get to rank 70 would be 70 hours. And then the average, there's a gentleman called Keva who worked it out. The average would be around about 52 crates to get it all figured out. So that's 122 crates.
Right.
Or roughly 122 hours that you would play. So if you do 3 hours a day, that's on average going to be 41 days for each character. Now, the one thing that doesn't take into consideration is the disintegration. So if you get
yes.
something, if you get a doubler, you can disintegrate it and you get a partial refund. So obviously you can adjust that. Just if it's a 10% reduction, then just take 10% off, and you're not going to be a million miles away off from the actual number. But yeah, you're looking at around about a month, I would say, to get full everything, which I don't think is unreasonable. Really,
Yeah,
it's
it's not too bad.
That
Per
sounds like,
character.
yeah, it sounds like a number they would actually shoot for. So,
As if it was designed that way. Now, just to reiterate what Snave said about disintegration, if you get an item from the command crate that you do not want, you can disintegrate it, as you said, for a partial refund of CXP. So that will just push you along a little bit faster. All right. So that was the live stream that was earlier in the week. They have also done a live stream only a few hours ago about Galactic Command DVL, Dark versus Light. So I have not watched the stream. Chill, did you watch it yourself? You said
I did listen to it. I got a good listen at the second half, and then the first half was really choppy. I was just having issues trying to catch it on the way home.
All right. They've also published a blog post about it. So this is kind of like a dynamic feature that is existing in parallel with the whole Galactic Command system.
Right.
And they actually started talking about Galactic Command generally, and we've pretty much covered it all, I think. Nightmare operations will get command crates about 2 to 3 crates per operation. Yep. But anyway, let's talk about Dark versus Light. Galactic Command, Dark versus Light. So there's this galactic alignment, which appears to be server-wide, so not game-wide, as is the Dark versus Light needle for the current Dark versus Light event. And this is nothing to do with that event. This is something else that is going to be baked into the game. There will be one for your server. And
Right.
it's just a light/dark bar, which will just be your little per server's own needle. So you can participate in any activity in the game, and this will earn dark or light side points. Now, whether it's dark or light apparently is just a UI setting. You can set that on a given character. You can set for this character, I'm going to be for the light,
Ah, okay.
and then anything that you do will earn points. Now, apparently there's going to be periodic updates on the progress of the war every 15 minutes or half an hour. And I don't know if this had appear in chat or as some really annoying
I
pop-up that
really,
you can't
really
switch
hope
off.
you can turn that off.
Yes, indeed. And the battle ends when one side on your server hits Dark 5 or Light 5. And this is when a victory state kicks in. This was so written by programmers. And it will last for 1 hour, they said, though I suspect that'll be tweakable. And both sides will get great stuff during this victory state. And you'll earn dark and light side tokens during this victory state. And yes, so it's like this, just playing the game generally. Everyone picks a side, one side wins. Then for an hour or so, you get extra bonus stuff, which we'll talk about. And then the clock resets and Needle's back in the middle and you get to push it the other way.
There was a few different changes on this as well, which are probably worth mentioning. They were saying that it's locked into your character's alignment. So, for example, my character is Dark 5. So even if I pick Light Side and Light Side wins, because I'm Dark Side, I don't win. So you have to kind of like grind whichever side you want to go on to. I'm just saying now, everyone go Dark Side, and then we can just swap in a month's time, and then everyone can go Light Side, and we can get all the rewards, and
That is
we're all winners, you know.
Yeah.
But also, if you when you target the Light or Dark Side, anything you do will give you Light or Dark Side points. So if I go and kill mobs, my personal light dark side is affected by that. So if I want to grind up to light side, I can do that. I can kill a bunch of mobs, and that will then give me light side points.
How often can you change your personal alignment? I
Imagine you
doubt
change
this
it
is a
whenever you
permanent
want.
choice. Yeah, exactly. That's what I meant. It's just a
Yeah.
UI setting. You just flip it.
The other thing they said was there's like there's a feature in the system, so the losing side gets a boost in the points they earn
For the next time, right?
Yeah, so if you imagine that you're outnumbered, say 2-1, you get a multiplier until eventually you have to win. So
So you
you're
can
gonna
actually
have to do a
choose
different
to go against your own alignment
yes,
with this UI setting.
but you kind of have to. If like I'm Dark 5, so if I want to go a light side, it's going to take me. That's a lot
Forever.
of shooting mobs on
Oh.
drum and casts. You know what I mean?
Right.
To get there. So there's already posts on the forums where people say that they're going to try and hover around the grey line so they can go
Right.
back and forwards depending on who's winning.
Right.
You know,
Send some diplomacy missions out, and
Yeah.
So-
all of a sudden pop.
at least
Just
that's my
to clarify,
understanding. Probably want to check
per-
that with Blake because he's a lot more cleverer than me.
What's
Go on,
that?
Blay.
With the maths?
Well, actually, the personal alignment, you do just mean your own character's light versus dark needle, right?
Yeah.
Just to be clear? Yep. Okay. And then you choose, the UI setting chooses which side you're actually working for. So
Yes.
as you say, Chill, you could actually work against your own alignment for
Yeah.
some bizarre reason. Okay.
It's one of those why you're hitting yourself type of things, isn't it?
Yeah, it's bizarre.
Okay. Why do I think Light's going to win all the time? Yeah, okay.
think it's-
We'll find out.
I think there's going to be a certain sense of server bias, because I think certain servers probably have more Republic and certain servers probably have more Imperial.
Right.
Do you think this is going to go a similar way to Conquest, where you'll have like DVL guilds? You know, Touch My Karaga is recruiting, must be dark side, must pick dark side. You know, that kind of stuff.
Maybe, but there's no guild-specific victory, so it's all just like individual things. I don't see what the point is.
I don't really
it
see
is
what
also
the point of Conquest is to you, but people still do it every week.
the rewards. You get the rewards though.
What are the rewards?
Well, I don't know because I haven't done it for a long time. I'm
Get
sure
a
they're great
title.
though.
Mate, you get a title. I got the Conqueror of the Black Hole, and then I just stopped.
Okay, let's talk. Light side rewards, access to new rewards on light side vendor on the fleet, including exclusive mounts, pets, and more. On my lip. Okay, bonus to all command experience points earned, so that is actually useful to you, earning command XP.
True.
Yeah. And you play the highlighted activity in Galactic Command for an even larger bonus. That's something we haven't touched on. Apparently, they haven't said, is it like daily or weekly?
Daily.
Probably
Yeah,
daily.
that swaps daily. Hmm.
Yeah. Galactic Starfighter will be up. And so if you do Galactic Starfighter, you get a bonus. Next day, it could be PvP. Do war zones and get extra command XP.
This is depressing to you.
Why is that?
Well, if you want to gear up as quickly as possible, then you're going to do whatever the activity of the day is, which sounds great because it puts people into the queue. Now, I'm going to give you a question here. What do you think I'm going to do when it's GSF day? Do you think I'm going to not do GSF? Or do you think I'm going to go into GSF and just go AFK for 15 minutes, take my dogs for a walk, come back, have the mission done?
Well,
which
that's
is exactly what I did
Snap.
for the DVL.
Right.
But the point I make it is, whenever they've done things like this previously, like for example, the DVL activities or the Valor 5...
To encourage people to play a particular mode.
Yeah, PS, again, the PS Companion or 4X. No one has gone in there going, hey guys, let's go and try this out to the best of our abilities. Or I'm sure some of them have. The vast majority were just going AFK, getting the games done, and then that was it. That they weren't actually taking part. And I think that's going to happen for every single one of them, pretty much. Which isn't good. Because there's probably a lot of GSF players going, "Yay, we're going to get pops once a week."
Right.
But those games, I'm 99% sure those games will be absolute garbage.
You mean like PvP when they make that the highlight?
Yes.
It'll give people.
It'll be the same. It'll be exactly the same thing. Yeah. Plus, I think PvP is probably the easiest way for people to game the system. So, if, like, for example, if you are a 8-man raiding guild, you can do your raids, and then you can just queue up for team rank to see when you have the Valor for it. And then you have you'll end up probably 4v4 on some levels. And you can just, I'm not saying like win trading, but you can just play it over and over and over again late at night when maybe the pops are lower after you finish raiding, and get more and more points from doing it that way. So again, it's going to show on the metrics that it is an increase in activity, but it also isn't, if you see what I mean.
I do see what you mean.
Yeah.
Yeah, I wish I could say that isn't going to happen, but at least some players will do that. Now, there is something here about defeat light side bosses. This is part of dark side rewards. Or if dark side loses, for example, defeat light side bosses around the galaxy to earn command experience points and dark side tokens. So if your side loses, bosses of the other faction will spawn somewhere, apparently just all in the open world on various planets, and if you take them down you'll get command XP, and then the winners, in this case the light side, are supposed to go out and stop those dark side players from fighting the bosses and stop them gaining command XP. Now I assume that means you switch to a PvP game focus, otherwise you're not going to be able to stop anyone do anything.
They
so
did
if
say
you're actually fighting those
they
bosses,
talked
make
about it
sure
both ways actually, Tio, and I think with the PvE server you would, or node or whatever, you would actually go and just fight the boss essentially, or drag the boss off, that sort of thing.
Yeah, this is the bit that doesn't make any sense to me though, because what happens if I'm in a group and 50% of the people are dark side and 50% of the people are light side? Who won? Did the light side stop me from killing the boss? Or did I kill the boss as a member of the dark side?
Stop it, Blair. You're ruining my immersion.
That's a good question, actually.
I guess we'll
Who won?
see.
Who did it?
I don't know. Is anyone going to take this seriously, or will this just be a background activity that everyone will very quickly ignore?
I don't know. I think it could be fun. Like, let me give an example. So let's say light side wins, and you're on the Imperial fleet. You can have one of those little announcements coming up, like they have for Rakghoul, saying so-and-so Jedi Space Wizard Ninja has spawned in the Zakul sector. And you're like, cool. Let's go over there and kill him. He's a space ninja. Let's go mess him up. And then they could say the same thing on the Republic fleet, saying, this guy is spawned here, go and protect him or whatever it is, to try and get some kind of activity going. But if it's just a random spawn on a random planet, then how is anyone going to know? Well, you think he's going to go and travel through the entire game looking for a mob everywhere?
Maybe they'll be worth teleporting to them or something.
Yeah. They actually said there wasn't going to be anything telling you. They were just going to be places. And you're going to have to go and scout and find them.
Maybe they'll appear on the map.
If it's on Quash, people will find it. If it's anywhere else, there's no chance.
Yeah, it's somewhere in the Doom Sea. Good luck, chaps. Good luck.
Somewhere on Tatooine, use a compass and a bottle of water. See you later, mate. No, I think they'll have to announce it some way. I think that's a good way of doing it. Because if they do it on the fleet, then it encourages guilds to actually, all right, we've got to go now before someone else gets there, you know?
Well, it could be worse. It could be on Corellia, and they could tell you where it is, and it's still going to take you 3 days to get there.
Good point. Yeah. So, just any of you guys actually looking forward to this? Snave, you said it might be fun. Briefly.
Well, see, so here's the... I always get stuck in this conundrum with this, right? Because, yeah, it might be fun. Because if I get a broadcast saying, you know, Jedi lightsaber master is spawned here, and I can get there, and it's on a PvP instance, then you can argue that it can stimulate world PvP. Now, the problem with this game is, inherently, you cannot have a successful world PvP event. Because as soon as you have the numbers required to have a successful world PvP event, the game engine just goes and just starts slowing down, you know. So it's a shice devant down, unfortunately, and they can't really go anywhere. So yeah, that's the problem that I get with it. I before I even get excited, I'm depressed because it's never going to work. So, but I mean, I read some things that they were changing the hero engine to be DX11 compatible, so maybe they can port that into this game, which might increase performance. I think Delegate posted it to me. Maybe he can post a link in chat. But I read something about the hero engine, not this hero engine, just the hero engine, generally speaking. But maybe they can use that on this version. I don't know, mate. I'm not a developer, so I'm a backseat developer. Put it in there. Do it now. You know, that
Wanting
would
to DX11 isn't that big a deal.
I think that could be a good thing, though, to kind of get people going for it. Even if it's just 2 guilds fighting for the same thing, you know, you can instance it maybe, so you can get somebody from each faction, yada yada yada. That could be fun, but that kind of stuff requires a certain amount of planning and a certain amount of caring about fun as a metric. So that's not going to happen, I guess. They have to do something to announce where the mobs are, though. They have to do it, because otherwise no one's going to find them.
Right. As maybe they just haven't thought that one through a lot. Let's just spawn bad guys and everyone will just fight them and it'll be great. You can just see it. Right.
I think if we're still in a big, healthy guild, then yeah, it could be absolutely fun to have a couple of guildies, and as soon as one of these things appear, try and get on it as fast as we can and kill it. But seeing as my guild has basically died, just only Todd.
Don't be bitter, Blay.
Stop being negative.
I'm not being bitter. You know, it's just a case of, if you're only Todd and you got a massive boss that you can only possibly take down with like a group of either 8 to 16 people, then it's just not as fun, really.
What if they do it so you can summon like 8 companions?
What,
and
8 Jesus droids?
No, just 8 companions, you know. How about this one for you, Blacklock? What if they did it so if you have the Yavin guild stronghold, you can spawn a boss in there and your guild can go and fight it?
Oh, that'd be great.
That could be fun. Actually, that's a really good idea. You could do that for like trialing boss fights as well, couldn't you?
Yeah, that'd be fun. I'd have to try and find 8 guildies all logged on at the same time, and at the moment, even that's a challenge.
Most successful expansion ever. Get with the line.
Sorry.
All right, let's just quickly touch on just a few other bits and pieces. Those the command crates will drop items that, aside from the gear, which is bind and pick up, there will be other things, just vanity stuff, which you can sell because they will be bind on equip, so you can put them onto the GTN if you so desire. What else we got? They're not planning server merges, in case you were wondering. Even though there are players flooding back into the game, they are not planning any server merges because they just want to see how it goes next year. So, yeah, no merges yet, which does sort of leave the door open for them to do it eventually.
Do you find the rationale a little bit lacking in this one? Does that sound like more of an excuse to you than a reason? Like something you just pulled out your sleeve rather than genuine? Do you think there's going to be so many players coming back? Because from someone who played the game at launch when they had like loads and loads of servers, when people started dropping out, the problem with it was you had the illusion that the game was dead because your server was dead. Right. Whereas really the game wasn't dead at all. It was just people spread out over 100 different servers. So if I come back to Toffen, which is granted a completely dead server now,
sure.
When people start to drop off, doesn't that make it more likely that I will then follow suit? Because from my point of view, my perception, my server is dead, therefore the game is dead.
So they should have everyone on the smallest number of servers possible to remove that perception. Yeah.
Also, there's a lot of different reasons to do it too, but it just seemed to be something that you just pulled out as a throwaway answer rather than an actual. Or we looked at the numbers and everyone's going to be amazing when I just don't think that's going to happen, because if this was the most successful expansion that they had at launch in terms of player base, then why are we in this situation now? Like, is history repeating itself?
Yeah, I'm with you. On the topic also of the Hero engine being ported to DX11, while the current version of the Hero engine may be, they forked from the code that they bought ages ago. So what they're running may have been the Hero engine at one time, but it has been so, I don't want to say bastardized, let's say improved by the BioWare team that it's really not the same thing anymore. So, yeah, unless BioWare have explicitly said themselves that they're working on DX11.
Yeah,
no. I'd be really, really surprised. All right.
Speaking of the DVL thing, there's one other part I wanted to mention on this, because at the start of the stream they mentioned that the main reason they went to this whole crated gear system was because players found it too complicated to go and... I'm not making this up. They said it was too complicated to take the tokens. There was too many vendors on the fleet. They then proceeded to explain, which is one of the most convoluted systems. Every 15 minutes it gets updated. You get bonus points if you lose. You get a random spawn. I was like, what? It just, there doesn't seem to be any consistency in the way they do things. And I personally find it really irritating when they do things like that, because the token system has been established to be a functioning system in pretty much every game. The RNG system has been proven to be a terrible system in every single game, including this one. So I don't understand why it is this way.
Well, yes. Especially since, looking at that problem, the whole complication of the token system, they could have just smoothed that down a little. Maybe just right-click on the token and the item just pops into existence.
Whoa, that's mad talk, that is. Tio, you're such a backseat dev. MMOs are hard.
Yes, rather than just throwing away the system. Are they just trying to turn everything into gambling boxes, essentially? They work with the DVL event, right?
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, but the simple solution I would have liked was just have 3 vendors. One for tanking gear, one for DPS gear, one for healing gear, and...
You've lost me. That's too many vendors, mate. You've lost me.
You get a piece of set bonus, and that set bonus, wherever it is, just becomes the set bonus for whatever discipline you're in.
You mean dynamically change? Oh,
yeah.
Wow, that'd be awesome. Yeah, that is a good idea. Let's do that.
Isn't it weird that all of these ideas seem so much better?
Yes, but I suspect, and people have alluded to the reason they're going down this route, particularly the whole you must be subscribed thing, is to keep people subscribed. So the only way to play endgame is to be subscribed. Now, why did they do that? One could infer the only reason is that people saying subscribe for episodic story just didn't work, and so they're trying this to keep people subscribed. It seems.
Do you think this is going to work out? I'm glad you're here, because I wanted to speak to you about this, because this is such a massive shift in mindset. Previously, this game has been incredibly friendly, I would say, anyway, to free-to-play people. I understand that some of them are upset that they don't have certain access to things, but if you're free-to-play, as long as you spend a little bit of money here and there, you can get Operation passes, Warzone passes, artifact equipment passes. You know, you can essentially play through the game, and it's very friendly towards them. And now this is just like, say hello to the ground, you peasant. get your credit card out, or we don't care. You know, it's very brutal.
It is.
If you don't sub, you don't get the expansion, you don't get gear, you lose. Goodbye.
It's
You
like
get
they're not
nothing.
even pretending anymore.
It's like that Willy Wonka thing, isn't it? Good day, sir. No,
So
you get
lose.
nothing.
Yes.
Yes. But remember, you have access. All you have to do is sub for 1 month, and you'll have access to all that story, all that great story. And if that's
I
what you're
think that's
interested
good,
in,
though.
that's not so bad.
I mean, I think the expansion for the price is very good value. You get all the chapters in there. But the other issue I got with this tier was seeing as they moved to a story update so heavily last expansion and effectively hemorrhaged all the other players, the MMO bits players. Now they're giving all the story up front, which, I mean, even if you're a slow player, I can't really see 9 chapters not being played through in a month. What reason is there to keep subbed? Because there's no new MMO bits. I just don't understand who they're marketing this game towards anymore.
That's why we have to wait until January, where they're going to reveal this avalanche of group content that we are going to drown in.
Do you think they're just going to honeydick us
Fantastic.
until January, though, and just hope that people stay subbed and things? I don't...
Well, it's only a
do you
month,
think people
so-
will come back? This is the kind of stuff that I don't necessarily
depends.
grasp,
It really does depend on exactly what they do. And if it's
Hmm.
really, really good, whatever this new content is, then yes, people will come back. How long for? Well, apparently they have to stay sub to actually gear up, so... so if they do come back, sure.
If they come back in January, they've got to do all the gearing. So
Well, yes.
there'll be February until they geared, I guess. So, yeah,
There'll
that's
be
pretty
double XP, double Command XP weekends, there'll be all that stuff.
yeah.
That's-
That's pretty good.
Or even just on the cartel market, someone, I think it was Andrew, suggested boosts, CXP boosts, which you can just
I
buy for cartel coins.
really hope they don't do that.
Of course
Because
they will.
you can already argue the game is going towards a pay-to-win model. If the free-to-play people have a disadvantage in terms of gear, then you can argue it's pay-to-win. If you also get boosts from it, then you can certainly argue that too. So I'm not sure if I like any of those concepts. But with the gearing system, I mean, let me ask you this question as well, because it's been boggling my mind. Who is it designed to benefit, really? Because raiders hate it, PvPers hate it, casuals, people who just do story, don't need it. They don't really benefit from it. They might like it, but it doesn't necessarily do much for them. But they can grind heroics better, or when they do an ERP in their stronghold, they have more impressive stats. Like, check out my crit, baby.
But that is still an incentive for people, and I suspect that indeed the solo people who don't do group content, who just want to just play the game because they love the game, they are the ones who are just going to grind it out over however long and end up with fantastic gear.
But do you think that's a selling point? If you're a casual player and I say to you, well, you do your heroics and things, but you can also get the top tier gear, do you think, yes, pass me my credit card?
But imagine if you have a goal, a distant goal, because it will take you forever,
Yeah.
because you're not doing the group content, which is fast earning, and that means you have to stay subscribed to months. But you will eventually end up with the best gear in the game. You will get there. Honestly, I don't know. It's an interesting bet. We'll just have to see. I can see it working, honestly.
I understand the drive for better gear. I don't think gear is a big motivator for those types of players. Otherwise, they wouldn't necessarily be those types of players, if you see what I mean.
We honestly think we might be surprised. There are people who want it, but they don't want to do group content. And I suspect there's a whole lot more of them there.
Why are they playing an
That we might
MMO?
I've
Alone
got two
Together,
thoughts
you
on
know.
it.
Because they're playing a Star Wars game.
Oh, that's chill. That's completely correct. Yeah, I
right, Blake.
concede all points. No, that's 100% wrong. Right.
Two thoughts
Yeah.
from Blay?
Yeah, but I got two thoughts on it. So basically, when I used to raid, it was a case of I couldn't understand why people who only did single player, going in, just doing normal trash mob would want the highest level gear that's in the game,
Yeah.
because it's because you don't need it. Why are you coming into the raid and needing on the main hand that the raiders in the team need, when you're not going to do any content that actually needs that level of gear? It used to absolutely frustrate me like hell. But now that I'm not raiding, yeah, I wouldn't mind the chance of actually getting the highest level gear.
Yeah, because
you've
I'm not
changed,
really
man.
doing group content either. I kind of feel the same way. I mean, sure, why not? If I just piss around in the game and eventually I'll get cool stuff. without really having to work very hard. So, sure.
Yeah, but okay, so this is my point, though. You're shrugging your shoulders, going, yeah, sure, I'll have it because it's been offered to me.
Mm-hmm.
Is it something that you would pay for? That's my sticky question, basically. Yeah, it's
You would
nice.
have
Like,
to.
like Blake, I don't like Welsh cakes. If someone comes and says, here's 3 free Welsh cakes, I'll go, all right, cool, cheers, I'll take them. I'm not going to pay for them. I don't want them. You know, that's the kind of point that I'm making.
Yeah.
Also,
Now I want to know what Welsh cakes are.
oh, they're like this doughy things with raisins in them, and they're horrible. They're like the worst kind of cake. You know, the kind of cakes that are almost healthy. They're so rubbish. They like those.
Yeah, they're not cakes like you think of cakes.
No, man. They don't like diabetes cakes. These are just, wartime
But-
cakes.
In all seriousness, providing that goal in the future, as who said it? El Ricor in the chat says doctors call it the higher number, more better mentality. I honestly can see this working. But we'll see. Certainly better than making people wait and pay for story.
This is the other kicker for it. The groups of people who don't like it, the raiders, the progress raiders, the PvPers, those are the ones that they are really marketing to after the first month. Yeah, because there's no more story.
Yeah, but they've got this goal that maybe they're just trying to get them back as well.
Do you think it's going to be a situation where they've worked it out that, okay, this story will last us roughly a month, everyone will be geared in roughly a month, so then no one will care anyway?
It will take most people far more than a month.
That'll
Far
be
more.
casuals.
I would say 6 to 12 months. And people then switch to their alts and start gearing them up.
God,
That
odds,
vast
yeah.
sea of people will spend time in the game and will probably pay for the privilege too.
I really hope they change the crates to be BOL rather than BOP. Or make the set
The
bonus
mods?
be based, all of them, the whole crate.
Right.
So that if I have an alt, I can just mail them a bunch of them to open up and try and
Sure.
get gear for them, because otherwise it's
Put
going to
them
be a
in that
nightmare.
stash, which is shareable or something.
Well, it is effectively BOL because it's
It isn't,
going to be
because
able
the
to
set
put into
bonuses
legacy
don't go.
gear, isn't it? The only thing that
Yeah.
not going to be BOL is going to be the implants,
Oh,
gear
plus-
piece, and relics.
But
Oh
if
my
the set
God,
that's the
bonuses
same as now.
are discipline specific as the crates are, then
True.
that may not work out so well.
Am I going to level up my Juggernaut with my operative gear?
Indeed.
I'll go into a war zone, everyone will be like, God, who's this guy? He's got the operative set bonus. What a noob. I'm like, don't judge me, I'm one of you.
All right. What I'd like to do now is let's wrap up this discussion. Next week we'll talk more about the DVL event once we actually have a chance to learn more about it. There'll probably be a few more posts in the meantime, and there'll be another live stream. Nothing else I want to cover there. All right, and that's the news. Now, Chill, let's do the tips of the week.
Okay. Get back there first.
I'll read the first one.
Okay. And that will bring us to the tip of the week. We've got 2 tips this week, and Tio, why don't you take it away on the first one?
All right, our first tip. My name is James Chris, and I'm a long-time listener of the show. I have a tip this week, and it ties right into an amazing troll my co-tank on my raid team pulled on me. But first, a tip. When you make a mistake in group content, or don't know what you are doing, always tell your group that. Operations are, for example, if you keep making the same mistake and keep dying and don't explain why, the group will become frustrated with you. And don't explain why, the group will become frustrated with you. If you simply say, my bad, I stood in the fire like an idiot, the group will appreciate it, and you can move on. Note, they may laugh at you. This applies to content you haven't done like flashpoints and PvP as well. 90% of players will be nice about it, and that's probably true. Maybe 80%. 70, yeah, anyway. Now onto the video. If you want the backstory first, see Apostrophe's post here, and I'll link to that. So I logged into Raid on the Sunday following the Cantina, and the raid leaders stopped and said, now guys, I think I know what's holding us back, and I want everyone to watch this video. We'd been having some challenges on Nightmare Dreadguards, which they cleared. They have cleared it, but every second week was a challenge. Some of it mistakes, and some of it just RNG. So we all stopped to watch the video at the same time for an amazing troll supported by the Emperor's voice, Darren DePaul. We laughed all night at that one, and I will link to the video. So they got Darren DePaul to record something for them. Hope you guys got a laugh out of that one. So I will link all that, and nice work, mate. And Darren DePaul is a hell of a good sport.
Okay. I look forward to that video too. Okay, Java Doggy sent in the other tip, and he's from our own Utini Rage Guild. Java Doggy Starbucks writes, since we all have time to kill awaiting the next expansion, go for the Combat Protocols achievement. All you have to do is kill things using your 2VR8 and C2N2 companions. Once completed, you will have 40 cartel coins and legacy titles geared for combat, and combat designation L3E7. Warning, you have to kill a lot of things to get these. Caffeine power. Very nice. Combat designation elite is pretty funny. Alright, thank you, Java Doggy. And by random allotment, the winner is James Chris. Congratulations, James Chris. You're the winner of a Tonfon or M83R droid pet code, courtesy of BioWare, and a new OotiniCast provided cartel market pack from the latest shipment. And if you'd like a chance to win the same, please send your tips to OotiniCast@gmail.com by next Wednesday. And that will bring us to... Yeah, and I already said the next part.
Yep. All right. Introduce the Academy, and then we'll do the feedback, and we'll be done.
Okay, let me get back to that. There we are. And that will bring us to the Academy, and this week, Swotarista continues her PvP series with a detailed overview of the 8v8 Warzone Hutball. Thank you, Swotarista.
Which Hutball it is, because I didn't listen to it yet. We'll find out, no doubt.
Right. Sorry. Thank you, Swotarista, and that will bring us to the Force Feedback, where we read out your tweets and emails. Dave